All you need is a phone. And I know you have a phone. All you need is a phone. And this guy's making $50 an hour because that's what I'm paying him with his phone. So there's no excuse why you're not making any money, why you're sitting at home.
Where was he? What's happening, everybody? It's your man Chris, and I got a really special guest. I'm gonna let you tell the audience who you are, what you do, and how do we know each other?
Sure, yeah. Well, we're neighbors. We're neighbors. Started with controversy, and now we're here doing a podcast. My name is Matt Blake. I am the founder of Never Split Tens, neversplittens.com. I'm also Mr. Blackjack. So basically, I'm a YouTube influencer. I play blackjack on YouTube. I play high-stakes blackjack. I teach people how to play blackjack.
Nice. How did you get started in gambling?
In this, yeah. Well, I was drawn in. You know, the bright lights, the big city, Las Vegas, you know, card counting, that kind of stuff. I mean, I think I'm 15 years old, grabbed a book, learned to count cards, you know, learn the math behind it. And then I was like, no, I don't want to do this. So then I just go to the casino and I don't even know what I'm doing, right? But at some point, you're like, well, I'm losing all this money. Maybe I need to better my game, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got into it. So I actually learned the game. I learned the basics, and I've been playing blackjack all my life.
And is that been like your main
No,
job?
No, it hasn't. No,
Okay.
it's fun. Blackjack is fun for me, right? Counting cards, that kind of stuff. It's fun for me. No, but I'm an entrepreneur. Been an entrepreneur for over 20 years, 25 years now. I guess I'm getting pretty old. But I was 20 years old, knocking on doors, going to restaurants, trying to make sales. I was basically in sales all my life, and I liked being a project manager. So I funded, you know, my first business was an online entertainment information company 25 years ago. Wow. I actually started YouTube about 10 years after that, but I kind of gave up on it. And then I came back to it when blackjack kind of came back into my life in terms of I wanted to do something with blackjack on YouTube. So
okay, so that's what made you start a YouTube, is you wanted to do...
Well, so I had started something, and it was kind of opinion-based. It was called What's Up Ottawa, and I would go to people that would live in Ottawa, and I'd ask them questions, popular pop culture type questions, and then you kind of get that. It was fun to watch, but there was no real revenue in YouTube at the time. Mm-hmm. So a few years later, fast forward to 6 years, I buy this new house on this block, as you know, on this block, expensive block, right? Mm-hmm. So I was moving from a townhouse to a single family house, and my expenses were going to be $3,000 more a month. And what do you do as an entrepreneur? You do the same thing as I do. Well, I got to make $3,000 more a month. That's what I got to do. So how am I going to do that? So, well, what am I good at? I'm good at blackjack. I'm good at talking. I'm good at sales. Okay, well, blackjack, let's explore that. Let's explore YouTube. You can't rely on gambling revenue every single month, right? Cool. But you can rely on YouTube revenue every single month. So started a blackjack channel.
And what's it called again?
Never Split Tens.
Never Split Tens. Oh, that's pretty interesting, man. So, when was this? When did you start it? What year?
I started, 5 years ago, 2024. So 2019 is when I started, pre-pandemic.
Wow. Okay, so you got at a good time then, because a lot of people were watching.
It was kind of interesting. I mean, I had built up my audience. I had built up a pretty good audience pre-pandemic. So I think we were the hardest to get is 1,000, right? 1,000 followers once you get there, and it takes a while to get there. It took at least a year to get there. Yeah. So you're looking at no revenue for that first year, but after that, 1,000 turns into 10. I think pre-pandemic I was at 40, and then after the pandemic I might have been at 80, right? And I'm 140,000 now on YouTube and 160,000 on TikTok, and you know the list is probably at 500,000 now across all social media accounts. So yeah, it's pretty big. The blackjack community out there is strong.
Yeah, I can see that. Why the name Never Split Tens? Where did that come from?
Yeah, so it's what, and I'm guilty of this, it's what all the new players do. They split tens. So you get 2 tens versus a 6, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to split those tens because you can double your money against the dealer's 6, okay? So, but it's a bad move because 20 is a winning hand. So it's the number one newbie mistake that all newbies make. They think they have to split the tens, but you never split the tens because your hand 95% of the time is already a winner. Why would you split it for a potential loser? You would never do that, so never split tens.
So just right off the bat with the name, you're already teaching them some game.
I kind of hit the nail on the head with the name, and I trademarked the name last year. It was 4 years in. Took a year for the trademark to come in, so I'm pretty pleased about that. I am the legal owner of Never Split Tens in Canada, in the United States for the trademark. Yeah, nobody can use anything like that.
That's awesome. Brother.
It's like the Happy Birthday song. I own it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
So it took a lot of work. I mean, a lot of sacrifice to do that. But you think like an entrepreneur. What do you think of the kids these days the Gen Zs especially, and maybe even the millennials
Yeah.
too. But what's your take on them? Because there's a perception that they don't want to work these days. So what is your take on that?
Yeah, well, you're right. They don't want to work. They want breaks. They want everything for free. They want to belong to a union so somebody will cover their behind when they feel like being lazy. And the thing about, well, people like you and me is we're entrepreneurs. So you know what, Gen Zs? Stay that way. Rely on your parents to die in order to get an inheritance, in order to be able to buy a house. Because while you're doing that, I'm going to be out there hustling. And I'm going to out-hustle you 100 to 1. That's why I've got my own house when I'm 22 years old. And that's why you're still living in your parents' basement. There's no excuse today. I was on Fiverr last week, and I hired this kid. Okay, I hired him on Fiverr. You never know what you're going to get, but when you're looking for a new angle on a designer, sometimes you need to look outside your circle to kind of find a new and unique twist, right? So we're running into an issue with this kid, and we're doing this live video conference kind of thing, right? And he's showing me on his phone, and I'm like, why are you showing me on your phone? He's doing video editing on his phone. So all the kids out there that like, all you need is a phone, and I know you have a phone. All you need is a phone, and this guy's making $50 an hour because that's what I'm paying him with his phone. So there's no excuse why you're not making any money, why you're sitting at home playing video games. He was from overseas, definitely, but he's still making $50 American an hour. I don't remember where it was from. It could have been India, it could have been Romania, it could have been somewhere else.
Yeah.
Forgive me if I'm wrong about Romania, I do not know. I am not sure,
That's
but
fine.
it was totally worth the $50 an hour for him, and he was doing it on his phone. I still can't believe it.
Yeah. Is there money in blackjack? Like for what how much money you make?
Yeah, I'd rather not say, but I'm a winning player. Okay, I've always been a winning player. I'm actually on my bookie. I'm the biggest blackjack winning player ever. They've never done a cash out like mine. I just recently cashed out for $400,000. They've never done that before.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, they had to put special rules in to cash me out, and
Wow.
everything for me is documented. So I started with $250,000 on my bookie, and I ran it up to $1.1 million. Now, it's documented. It's on my channel. It's never been done before. And I'm proud to say I'm the biggest consistent blackjack winner on all of the internet. Look at anybody
That's
else.
crazy.
Nobody's ever done as well as me.
What was your biggest hand ever? on
Yeah.
blackjack?
So, well, it was $120,000 is what it was. So the max
Holy
on my
fuck.
bookie is 10 grand, 10 grand, 10 grand. Okay. So I'm betting 10 grand, and I doubled two of them. I split one of them and I doubled the other one. Dealer had a 6. It went 11, 14, 24. The dealer busted. So I ended up making $90,000 profit, $30,000 investment, plus the doubles. So it was $120,000 was what I take in. That was one hand. But keep in mind, sometimes, like I've playing my live streams, and my audience knows this, I've gone down $200,000-$300,000. So this was kind of like on the comeback from that one session, which was pretty insane. I went down $300,000, and I went all the way back up to a little bit more than even, and that hand was somewhere in there. Yeah, it just happened a couple weeks ago.
Is it a matter of you just having a low risk tolerance or a lot of belief in your skill set?
No, it's believe in the math, really. So
okay. Wow.
So you've got, the math
Wow.
always evens out. You got to believe the math, right?
That's
And
crazy.
the odds of blackjack, if you're playing perfect strategy, and if you're doing ace tracking, if you're looking at patterns, okay, there's peaks and valleys in blackjack, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to start here. You're either going to go this way or you're going to go this way, but eventually it will even out. Now the goal is to either come back to even or quit while you're ahead. So quit while you're ahead, that's the ultimate goal. Dana White, what does he do? He'll gamble for 10 minutes. If he's up 30 grand, 60 grand, he'll leave. But he'll gamble for 24 hours if he's down $1 million, right? Because eventually you know that you will come back. You're going to war. Every single time you play blackjack, you're going to war. I play hit and run. So if I play 10 grand a hand, if I'm up 30, 40 grand, I'm out. That's it. Cap the wins, but also cap the losses, right? And you know that eventually the math is going to work out.
And that's the hardest thing is to walk out when you're in a high.
It's
Because
so hard. It's so hard because you always think you can make more. But eventually, that math evens out. So you will flip back down. That's kind of the way it works. You're not always going to be on this crazy streak and it's going to last forever and you're going to take that 10 to 100 and that 100 to $1 million. You're going to fail 19 times out of 20 if you keep trying that. And if
Correct.
you are playing that way, you're going to lose it all. So you got to play smart.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, can you say what was the biggest loss you had in a day?
Yeah. I've had some really big losses. I think it was 180,000. I try not to think about them. I've got this kind of personality that when you lose something, when something bad happens, you sleep on it. It's kind of gone the next day.
Okay.
You have to train your brain not to think about those things because they will bring you down. And in blackjack, you're going to have losses.
Mm-hmm.
So online was 180,000 in a day. And that was absolutely disgusting. It was devastating. But you know what? You get back on the horse. And the people who have seen that session, they know, got back on the horse, won it all back, because eventually the math evens out.
So online, what was the biggest cash out you have?
It was $400,000 on my bookie. Wow. 400 G's. I took it from 250 all the way to 1.1 million, cashed out for 400,000, left 700,000 inside. But I needed to leave 700,000 inside because peaks and valleys in blackjack. Who knows if I'm going to lose 3, 4, 5, 600,000 the next day? Mm-hmm. You need the bankroll in order to be able to suffer the peaks and the valleys.
Wow.
So $400,000, biggest cash out my bookie's ever done, and it wasn't easy, because they do have this limit of $5,000 to $10,000. But for me, special rules, it's going to be over a few months, and it's going to happen eventually, right? So I'm getting a little bit every single week, and over a few months, that $400,000 is in my account, and I'm very happy that we kept the terms. My bookie's great. Get your money in. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. $250,000 to $1.1 million, right? Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Wow. And in Canada, it isn't taxed, so that's even better.
Wow. That's... Holy, I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I'll get you a strategy card.
Yeah. Fuck.
Speaking of strategy card, ask me that strategy card question if you don't mind.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed that question here. So you have some strategy cards. I saw that on your YouTube. Like, what is that? Like, what are they?
Yeah, so I'm trying to make it easy for people to play blackjack, right? And the easiest tool that I've created, or that's out there, is a blackjack strategy card. Sorry, ask me the question again. Sorry, forgive me.
So I've seen you promote these cards on your social media, but I don't really know what they are, because I'm not really into that game. But what is it? What are these cards?
Sure, yeah. So I've made it easy for players like you who don't play blackjack, right? And the whole thing about Never Split Tens is always playing the math, right? And the blackjack strategy card created by Never Split Tens, I created it. It's me. I stand by it. It teaches you how to play blackjack. So it's kind of this grid of numbers, right? So you've got the dealer's card and you've got your card, and you kind of go to the corresponding square, and then it'll tell you what to do. So say you've got 13 on a dealer's 6. What do? Do you hit or do you stand, right? Or do you double? All those things. So you hit, double, split, and stand. It's all written on this card. So if you've got 12 on a dealer 2, would you know what to do, Chris? 12 on a dealer 2? No. Okay. 12 on a 2 is a hit, but the card gives you the answer.
Okay.
So there's nothing fun about going to the casino, sitting down, playing a game where you don't know what you're doing. Yeah. You're hitting, you're standing, but you don't really know why, right? Wow. But you should play the math. If you're playing the math, you understand why you won and why you lost, right? Yeah. And if you're playing correctly, the odds of the house are much lower. You don't need to buy the casino owner another yacht, another hotel. No, play the math. Play the game the way it's supposed to be played, and that blackjack strategy card tells you exactly how to do that every single time.
And where can we get these cards?
Yeah, neversplittens.com. You get the card. It doesn't guarantee you're going to make $1 million, but it does guarantee that you're going to play the math, you're going to learn the game.
So you talk about the casinos. What is your take on Vegas and the casinos these days?
Yeah, so Vegas 10 years ago, in my opinion, amazing. And Vegas now, still amazing. It's better than it used to be, but I think they're screwing people over. So airport fees and landing fees and flights to Vegas were always the cheapest, right? Used to be a cheap holiday. You go there, you have a really good time, you gamble, you go to the restaurants, that kind of stuff, right? But now, Vegas is becoming really, really expensive, and they're pricing themselves out of the market. Look at Formula One last year. Prices were insane. Prices were insane for Formula One. You couldn't even get a room. What did they have to do the weekend before? They dropped their prices insanely. You can get a room Formula One weekend for $29 3 days ahead of time. Why? Because nobody was coming. And I'm going to tell you this. Vegas isn't the same without the people. Like, say you walk into an empty restaurant. Is it fun? Do you want to stick around? Is there vibe? No, there's no vibe. Vegas is all about the vibe. But listen, if it's not cheap or affordable to go to Vegas anymore, it's just going to be a bunch of high rollers. And you know what? High rollers want the vibe around them. And that's the whole thing. If Vegas is shutting out the average consumer, the average traveler, they're not going to win in the long run. And right now they're going to bring in basketball. They're going to bring in baseball. They got hockey. They got the Sphere. They got all these things. Well, you got to fill these venues.
Yeah, UFC and everything.
UFC. UFC is a big draw. UFC weekend, fight weekend's huge, right?
Yeah.
But, UFC is still going to come. So you're still going to get, how many people go to a UFC event in Vegas?
Thousands, tens of thousands.
Thousands. So they're still going to come in, right? But you're going to come in through that event. But you still want 100,000 people on the strip aside from that. Because if it was just you 3,000 or 6,000 in the stadium, and then you walked out and it was empty and it was a ghost town, you might as well stay home.
Yeah.
It's not really worth it. So yeah, that's what I think of Vegas these days. I think that prices need to come down a little bit. I mean, $32 for rum and coke by the pool, a little too much, right? And then a 20% grat on top of that, a little too much for me. Not for me, I can afford it. But for everybody else coming, they're like, well, I'm not going to enjoy Vegas because it's too expensive.
Yeah. Do you think it's just Vegas, or you think like there's something wrong with the whole country?
Yeah.
And when I say country, I'm talking both, because they're very similar. Canada and the U.S. So it's just that's what I mean. Is both of them. Like
both of them.
North America.
So I think you're going to expect to pay a little bit more when you're on holidays. I think it's just the nature of the game. You're in a tourist destination. You expect to pay more. I think since the pandemic, I think a lot of restaurants and a lot of businesses that are catering to tourists, maybe they took out loans because they lost money during the pandemic, and they have to pay those loans back. Mm-hmm. Now, say you've got $1 million loan to pay back, or let's just say $200,000 to pay back, right? And you've got to make it back, and you're still making what you made before, hopefully, right? Well, most business owners don't make that kind of money, right? And you do have to pay these loans back. So how are you going to do it? You have to charge your customers more. And if you keep charging your customers more and more and more every year, well, you're going to get less, right? There was this thing in business class, right, where if you charge X, you're going to get X customers. Well, at this point, I think all businesses are charging a little bit too much, and they're not getting enough customers in. And what you're seeing now is the really, really good restaurants are kind of doing well. The really good businesses that cater to tourists, they're doing really well. But everybody else is being left behind. So you're seeing just the cream rise to the top. So maybe that's where you need to be, is you need to be that good. The bar is higher now. People will pay, but it's got to be worth it. But everybody else, you're not worth it.
Yeah.
So you either better step it up or you need to lower your prices, one of the two.
Damn. Yeah, you better evolve or evaporate. That's the quote.
Evaporate. Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's good.
Either you evolve or you evaporate. What do you think of Trump?
Trump, yeah, it's interesting these days. He's getting a lot of flack, and my dad's going to absolutely hate this because he absolutely hates Trump. So he's getting a lot of flack these days, and I think the line right now is he's a convicted felon. And the Democrats kind of wanted this. I think they politicized the justice system, and they're trying to make him look bad, but it's not working because you and me, we see this, or regular people see this, see what they're doing to him for doing something that he shouldn't be prosecuted for, and he's still getting in trouble for it. And this is the kind of stuff that we're seeing in Russia. Can you believe Putin put his political opponent in jail? Can you believe he did that? He's the worst person in the world. Yeah. And what are we doing here in the United States? What are we doing? We're doing the exact same thing. So I know the States likes to say boogeyman there, right? That's what they absolutely love seeing. And that's what they're trying to do with Trump, but it's not working. Because Trump, he did 4 years, 0 wars, okay? Yeah. The military-industrial complex, we can definitely get into it. But in the States, it's prevalent, and it's obvious, and they just want these continuous wars. And if you're going to spend trillions of dollars when you're trillions in debt on weapons in order to fight a war that we have no meaning being involved in, and you're saying he's the bad guy when you're the one who's at war?
Yeah.
My only wish, actually, which is where we defer, you and I, Chris, is if Trump goes back into office and he wins, and I actually want him to take guns away, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
But he's the only one that could do it because everybody else is bought and paid for in special interest, and it's it's not a popular move on both sides of the aisle. Right? The NRA's got a strong lobby, right?
Yeah.
But I believe in no wars, right?
Okay.
So if I believe in no wars, I believe in no guns. And I think if we get all that off the street and we stop that business, maybe we could spend our money on something else. And the military budget in the United States is what? $4 trillion?
Yeah, it's
with the T? Like, is that?
Yeah.
Or is it 400 billion? Whatever. The numbers are so big, they don't even make sense anymore, right? They're just so big. But if you got rid of all that, think about everything else you could do. And maybe we try it. If it doesn't work, well, it doesn't work. But if you take all the guns off the streets, like other countries have done this, right? Like Australia's done it.
Yeah.
They had a mass shooting once. They took all the guns off. No more mass shootings. Like, it's pretty simple, right? It's like, it happened.
I just think that, well, yeah. I mean, I feel like we agree on like 90% of things.
Yeah, and that's fine.
But the gun thing, in my opinion, a bad man with a gun gets stopped by a good man with a gun. That's the way I see it. And the bad people with guns don't have license for those guns. So a good licensed, responsible gun owner could stop a bad what's it called? A bad person, I guess.
But then you have to go into the NRA and you have to stop the gun show without a license purchase, right? There's plenty of states in the United States where you can buy a gun at a gun show. There's the gun show exception.
True.
Right? So it either works or doesn't. You got to apply it all the way.
True.
I think you got to get rid of the gun show exception, right?
True.
It's going to kill a business. It's going to kill a conference business for all gun shows. If you can't buy a gun, what are you going to do, right? But it's a state issue, I think, when it comes down to it. But leadership comes from the top, right? So if they were going to do something, so you know what? If it's halfway there, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm for getting rid of them, but that would be hard.
So you don't have any guns?
I do not have any guns. No, because then you need to buy a locker. You need to buy all these things. I have kids, though, right?
Right.
So there's that
yeah.
whole you're more likely to get hurt with your own gun, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a safe, maybe it's a fingerprint safe. There are precautions. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But the license, I have friends who have guns.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have all these gun lockers
I have
and stuff
guns.
like that. You have guns. Yeah. Well, there you go. Good for you, right? Now, if anything happens, you will protect yourself. And it sucks. I'm in my house. What do I have? I don't even have a baseball
I'm your
bat,
neighbor.
right? No, there you go, Chris. Answer your phone. Yeah, no, I hear you. Like it's.
I have the non-restricted license, so it's rifles and shotguns. It's sporting guns for hunting game. Yeah, and where we live, the hunting community is really strong, and I want to get into hunting.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%.
And if it's, I guess you can't have a handgun because you're not allowed to own a handgun, but a hunting rifle.
Hunting rifle, yes.
You're allowed,
Yeah.
and it's the next best thing. You can still protect yourself
Correct.
with this thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, but trigger lock, the ammo, and it's not loaded. It's a whole bunch of rules. It's in a safe.
Yeah, and that's what the certification is for, right?
Correct.
It's more
Correct.
about learning how to put it away safely, right? Is that that's
probing and I forgot the name. It's a whole course. I can show you the booklet. But yeah, it's pretty much just handling a gun responsibly.
responsibly? Yeah.
Like for example, I can't if he has the little telescope thing, I can't just use it and test it because then I'm pointing it at you. Like it's just there's a way of doing it. I could get charged. Like if you see me in my backyard, bro, you can charge me.
Really?
Yeah, it's you can't. It's a good course. I did it last year. It took 3 months.
Oh wow!
And the thing is, as a gun owner, I get background checked every single day. Every gun owner goes through background check every single day.
So that's good.
Yeah.
See, it makes sense, and I think if you could do that, if the states could apply that across the, but it's got to be applied the whole way because
Correct.
if there's still a way to get a gun without a license, then it's an easy way to get a gun.
Yeah.
Then the gangs can get it, the kids can get it. Like eventually, anybody can get one, right? If you can buy a gun at a gun show, it'll get resold 17 times without showing IDs, so there's no trail on this gun. I mean, it's kind of the Wild
So
West.
would you say Canada's doing it right, or would you say even what the way it is in Canada?
Well, I honestly haven't followed it all that much. I know we had this long gun registry, right? So we spent a couple $1 billion, and then it got scrapped by the next political party that came in, right?
That's the thing, yeah.
So now, well, what do we have now? You had to take a course.
Yeah.
You took the course, and now you're certified. And can you go buy one right away? What's the rule?
Well, yeah, you get your PAL license, which by getting the PAL, you have to do the course to pass the test. There's restricted and non-restricted. I have the non-restricted, which allows me for sporting rifles and shotguns. And obviously, there's a background check. They have to call references. If you have a spouse or a partner, they have to call that person as well, make sure that they're safe.
Wow.
And then, it's a very litigious process. Takes about 3 to 6 months. In the big cities, takes longer. We're here, so it's common that there's shooting range and there's hunting. It happens here. But if I was in Toronto, it's a lot more questions because why would you need one?
Right.
You know? So
3 to 6 months
after the course,
you can buy a gun.
Yeah.
And where do you buy a gun?
At the shooting range. The closest one to us will be in Stittsville.
Okay, so there's no Walmarts in Canada that sells gun. What about? Don't I see guns at Canadian Tire, like rifles? Like no,
Maybe.
Is that
I don't
air
know.
guns? So, but the shooting range, they can sell you guns.
Yeah, they can. There's gun stores.
No way. Okay.
Yeah, they're not that far. Like the closest one to here is half an hour away, and you can get set up with like $1,500 for some nice setup with a safe, a nice rifle, and some ammo, and then you can go to the range and shoot.
Okay. And what about can you mod this gun?
No.
Can you? No. Not even.
There
not
is
at all?
things that you can do, which a lot of times the shooting range, the range officer will coach you,
Okay.
especially if you're very green.
Okay.
There's courses, the handgun. So the handling courses just teach you how to handle the guns, but there's also like hunting courses, right? That you can take, or shooting target courses as well.
Oh,
There's
that's
about
cool.
a lot of courses every month. I wanna do one because it's fun, bro. I mean,
I bet shooting's awesome.
Shooting's awesome.
I mean,
yeah.
I've gone to the shooting range in Vegas. I've
Yeah.
gone 3 times in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out. Have you ever done it?
Well, not in Vegas. I've never been to Vegas.
Never been to Vegas. Okay, well, first of all, you got to go to Vegas.
I know. I've been to Niagara Falls.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's all. You know what? Niagara Falls has changed the last 10 years. It's become Vegas-sized. Clifton Hill, absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
So back to Vegas and the shooting range. There's a few shooting ranges in Vegas, but it's the whole experience, eh? They pick you up in a Humvee. The dude's got he's dressed in camo, and
Nice.
he's carrying a gun, right? So he
Wow.
picks you up, carries a gun, and you're there in the Humvee, and they're awesome. It's camouflage. They drive you to the range. They give you the safety course.
Yeah.
And then after that, you get to choose. I mean, you can shoot a minigun in these places.
Wow.
Right? Like it's insane. I shot different guns the first time. Like I think I shot a automatic rifle. I think it's the American version of an AR-5. I want to say M16.
Right.
Shot an M16 the first time I was there, and I shot a sniper rifle.
Wow.
The next time I went back, I shot a shotgun, which was like pretty badass. And then the next time I went back, I wanted the gun from the movies, the Desert Eagle 5.0, like the I forget which movie it was. It was called Brad Pitt was in it or something.
Yeah,
the
I don't
guy?
know. Fuck, I'm so
The
bad
guy
with
said
movies.
it, and what does it say on the side of my gun? It says Desert Eagle .50 or
Wow.
something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, have you ever shot that gun?
No.
Like you need 2
Yeah.
hands, right? It's
Fuck.
insane. Anyway, the whole experience is really something else. Going to Vegas and kind of doing that.
How often
And
do you go to Vegas?
2-3 times a year.
Wow.
Like pretty
Okay.
insane. Like it's a really big number. I've been so often, it's hard for me to count them all.
You
But
probably
it's-
make your money back when you're in Vegas.
Yeah.
That's-
9 out of
makes
10
sense.
trips,
Yeah.
I've made my money back. So I've been extremely lucky, and one, money is easy to spend, and that's, some of my favorite memories in Vegas is making $5,000 and then blowing it all in one night at the club, at the restaurants, taking my friends out, and we just have this amazing night that we remember only half of it the next day.
Yeah.
Because that's Vegas. That's what you do. You're there to
Yeah.
blow money. You're there to ball out, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's. I mean, I love Vegas.
That's
I've
sick.
stayed everywhere on the Strip, and yeah, I
Nice.
want to go back. Making me talk about it right now makes me want to go back.
Man, it sounds a lot of fun. Do you ever do like the shows there, like the Chris Angel? Have you seen the Chris Angel show?
I have seen the Chris Angel show.
That's like on my bucket list.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's awesome. I've seen him. I've seen David Copperfield. I've seen kind of Carrot Top, but he's more of a comedian.
Yeah.
I've seen all the Beatles shows in Las Vegas. I mean, every time you go, you got to do one show. You got to do one show. You
have
got to
to,
go
yeah.
one nightclub. You got to do one pub crawl. You got to do one sporting event. You kind of got to do a little mix of everything
Yeah.
because it's all there, right?
It's so awesome. I would love just to go see shows. I love
100%.
shows. Yeah, the
And
Chris
it's-
Angel's in my bucket list.
And you think it's expensive, right? So you're showing up and like your Sigma Set A tickets could be stupid expensive, but you're kind of getting in for $129 American, right? And you're like, oh man, this is expensive because you go to your Broadway here and it's like $80. Yeah, well, you're in Vegas, it's going to cost you. But if you've ever been to New York City or London, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Like New York City is $250, right?
Yeah.
So it's double the price in New York City. So whenever you think Vegas is expensive, it's not for shows. Restaurants, very expensive. Drinks by the pool, very expensive. But shows, yeah, it's the place to go.
Okay, I definitely want to go. I had a question here, man. What do you think about Putin?
Putin, yeah. I think it's easy to put the boogeyman on him, and I think it fits the narrative of what the U.S. wants, right? The U.S. needs a boogeyman. They've always needed one, whether it was Gaddafi or Saddam Hussein or Osama bin Laden, although that's a different thing. But they've always needed a boogeyman in order to spend money on their guns, on their bombs, in order to continue the military-industrial complex. And right now, the appropriate boogeyman is Vladimir Putin fighting this nonsense war in Ukraine, spending, was it $300 billion so far? Even though they're spending it domestically and they're calling in loans from Ukraine and they're saying it's a gift, it's really, really bad that they're spending $300 billion on this war that they have no place being in. So Putin, being the boogeyman that he is, which I don't believe he's a boogeyman, is fitting this narrative of let's spend money on bombs and keep the economy going while racking up a $30 trillion debt, which doesn't make any sense to me. But at one point, this debt's going to come in, and Putin's going to say, you're poor now, I'm with China, we have all the money, and you're going down.
Wow.
And what happens then?
Then we have to learn Chinese.
Well, okay, look at my street. Look at my street. There's more Chinese people on my street than white people, right?
Yeah.
They're all driving Porsches and Land
Yeah.
Rovers. Who's winning?
Yeah.
I'm the one hustling every day,
Yeah.
and they're gardening at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. So you say you always talk about Bookie, and Bookie is more like the name of the, because there's a lot of gambling apps and websites. So why my Bookie? What's
Yeah,
it
there's a
about
ton.
them?
So I wanted to find my bookie, right? And I wanted to find a casino that I could play at, that my audience could play at, because I want my audience to be able to play with me. That's the goal. That's why I started Never Split Tens, to create this community of blackjack players, right? And I started this thing called the Blackjack Tour, which is blackjack tournaments, right? But the problem with blackjack tournaments is you have to be at a certain location in order to do it, right? Well, only 3% of my audience is Canadian. So if I have a tournament in a city in Canada, how much of my audience can actually come to that tournament, right? So same thing as online. Geography is a problem. And then with all the laws and regulations, this country this country that, on my bookie, anybody can play from anywhere in the world. Easy money in, easy money out, no regulations, no red tape, none of that stuff. No laws. It's just easier to play on my bookie than anywhere else.
Where's most of your audience from? With the majority of
American. My audience is American. 63% American, right? And Americans is regulated state by state. They allow sports gambling way more than casinos. Casinos is only 4 states that are allowed to gamble in the United States. 4 states are legal. I think they're at about 30 for sports gambling. But for online live blackjack, 4. So if you want to play blackjack, you have to drive to a state where you can play, or you have to play somewhere else. And my bookie offers an avenue where players can play safely.
So that would be like your preferred and only.
Well, it's if the audience wants to play with me, and if they watch me and they're always like, well, where can I play? What can I do? You know, how do I get on? I'm from this country, this and that. You know, you just log on and you can play. It's just easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's easy. And some players are like, well, is my money safe? Okay. Business, I'm a businessman, right? So this kind of resonates with me. And they're like, well, is my money safe there? Okay. If your money wasn't safe there, nobody would play. I wouldn't play. Nobody would play if you couldn't cash out. Businesses are going to spend $15 million on an online casino, okay? They're going to spend $15 million in order to cheat you out of your $200, $300, $400, $500. No, as soon as you have 10 stories like this on the internet where people aren't getting paid, the whole business goes to zero.
Yeah.
So no business operator would operate that way. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So as long as people are playing and people are getting their money in and out, you know it's safe.
Yeah, I mean, look at. I mean, it's no gambling, but look at what happened to Sam Altman-Fried with was it ITX?
FTX.
FTX. It's literally he's in jail right now. I heard the news that he was requesting his ADHD medication while in prison.
Poor kid.
Poor guy.
Hey, $4 billion fraud?
Yeah.
Yeah, poor kid. He blew it up. And it was all the hype, right? Once you've got Tom Brady as your spokesperson, you're going to do really well. I mean, Tom Brady's there. He joked. He said he was playing video games while raising $1 billion from, like, he's playing Fortnite and he's texting Elon Musk and he gets $1 billion from Elon Musk while he's playing Fortnite. This is the kind of crazy hype that happened in the 2000s with the internet companies,
With
right?
.com boom.
Right, the .com boom, right?
Yeah.
Internet company. Does it matter what it does? No, let's buy it. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's
So
the
what
AI
happened?
boom, yeah.
Crypto was the new, was the new boom, and it
True,
worked.
yeah.
It worked. And
Crypto came before the AI revolution, right?
man, did you buy into Bitcoin? I didn't, and
No.
I'm kicking myself, right?
No, I opened a wallet. Man, I opened a wallet in 2013.
Okay, you could have been before the curve,
And I was like, I was so broke, but I wanted to put $100.
right?
And I put $100 and I took it out in 2013, bro.
No, because you needed it. Yeah, I know.
And I was like, fuck, imagine, even that would have been a little bit of money today.
Would have been huge.
Yeah.
Or like Nvidia, like all these stocks that just did crazy. My buddy ended up investing a Tesla at $20 before it went sky high. So he ended up buying a Tesla. He put $20,000 in Tesla,
Yeah.
and he ended up buying a Tesla, and he still has $100,000 left. So he got a $90,000 Tesla. So his $20,000 investment went to 90 times 2, I guess. So
Yeah, Tesla is not going anywhere, man. Because think about it, they patent the supercharged stations. So I don't know how that works, but I would imagine that if BMW comes out with its electric vehicles, they have to license the Tesla supercharging stations. So, and Tesla has all that data that we talked about. It's not just the cars; it's beyond that. That's why it's a safe investment.
That's right. And they're making money off the superchargers.
Yeah.
Like it's still $20 to charge your car.
Correct.
Like 20 or more, right? So what's stopping them from it being 25 next year and 30 the year after? I mean, the price is obviously going to go up, right?
Yeah.
So no, I really think they're definitely on the right track.
Where do you invest now? Do you invest in stocks or real estate?
Yeah. So it's interesting. My goal is to pay off my house, which is almost done.
Nice.
So I'm really happy about that. I've got $100,000 left on the house, and I bought it 5 years ago.
Nice.
So paid off the mortgage it's going to be done this year.
Wow.
So after that, the goal is real estate at that point.
Yeah.
But the rates have to come down. So I still, max out on my stocks RSPs. I invested heavily in Uber. Uber's doing really well. But all this is money that I can't play with. It's just there. It's stuck till I retire.
So
right?
what's the difference between investing in Uber and gambling? Or like, how do you, because, this is the right person to ask.
Yeah.
Stocks or gambling? What's more?
Well, there's no
low
guarantee
risk?
in gambling. There's no guarantee in Uber either.
Yeah.
But a lot of the people say invest in what you use, right? So at my house, we use Uber.
Yeah.
We use Uber. We use Uber Eats kind of exclusively. A ton of people work for Uber.
Yeah.
The growth that Uber Eats have had.
Correct.
I'm also in the restaurant online ordering business, right? I'm a partner in an online ordering company. And I know who our major competitor is. And I know that all the other platforms, Skip the Dishes, Just Eat, DoorDash, they don't even generate a tenth of what Uber generates.
No, not even all of them combined.
Yeah, so I know exactly where the money's going, where the market's going, and they actually offer an amazing product. They spend billions of dollars on their app. You know where your food is. You know where your driver is.
Yeah.
Uber's just the first time you used Uber, and I don't know if it was like this for you, but for me, I started the app, I ordered my Uber, and I couldn't believe how easy it was to use.
Yeah.
And there's no tip, there's no nothing. It's just I tip my food driver, but Uber kind of started off like that, a cheaper alternative to the taxi business, and they've done extremely well.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have invested in Uber a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I invested in Uber because of Uber Eats and because of the knowledge I have of the industry. So to answer your question, stocks over gambling for sure. But use that extra revenue that you have, because after you invest in stocks, after you've maxed out your RSPs, there's no benefit of you to invest in the stock market unless you're a massive, massive player, because you're going to play capital gains on every single win. And do you want to give away half your money, half of everything you make to the government? No. So at that point, that extra income, if you're going to give away half, maybe try your luck at the casino. If the odds are 50%, the odds are 50% that way, and you could still lose, right?
Crazy how your mind works.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Cool stuff, man. Last question, bro. What do you got back there? You have like a sauna in the backyard?
You saw that, eh?
I'm is this guy doing the cold plunge? What do you got going
Man,
on?
I try to recreate the hotel, the resort environment in my backyard. I pay so much when I go to hotels.
Yeah.
I want it all at home.
Yeah, you have probably the nicest backyard. My buddy had a drone. The other day, like, holy shit, this guy is balling out here. It's like freaking 5-star resort.
So cashed out that $400K, booked a trip to Tokyo, bought a sauna. The sauna was 20. It wasn't that crazy. You got to upgrade your electrical system. You got to get the electrician in a couple times. You got to get survey people.
And it's for winter too?
Oh, yeah. I run everything year-round. I run the hot tub year-round, the sauna year-round. I don't run the pool year-round because that's a bit more complicated, but I got an outdoor shower, too, to give you that cold effect.
So you got a Nordique in your backyard?
Nordique in my backyard. That's the whole goal, man. I was at the there's a fancy hotel, Shangri-La, in Toronto, and I was there New Year's a couple years ago, went to a Raptors game, completely balled-out weekend, highs on New Year's, brought the kids, hammered, having an amazing time. And the next day, you're kind of hungover, but you go to the Shangri-La, they got this beautiful resort type of spa, and they got this sauna in there, and it's an infrared, and it's a big sauna.
Nice.
And I'm actually this is an interesting story. I'm in the sauna, and one of the guys was a Shopify guy, and he was an investor in Shopify. And telling him about my business, blah, blah, blah.
Shopify's Canadian, right?
Shopify is Canadian. Yeah. Huge company, huge success story, Shopify. And he's telling me that the next 5 years...
Ottawa, sorry, could you? Ottawa too, right? I think it's a success Ottawa story too, I believe.
Well, it's the founders in Ottawa. They started the company in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy
huge.
stuff.
They're worth billions. I mean, massive company. Yeah. And they said the next 5 years for them was going to be all about fulfillment, which is interesting because they started it and then they pivoted away from fulfillment. But anyway... To bring this story back, because of him, I started using Shopify Fulfillment, which turned into Deliver Fulfillment. But anyway, people who buy my strategy cards now, it's fulfilled by them. And they offer this amazing product because for $5, it could be delivered in the States with tracking, which if I ship something from Canada to the States, it's going to be $27 with tracking, which is brutal.
Yeah.
But because of Shopify, they're helping out their creators. They're doing this so that you can get your merch to creators a lot cheaper than would it be if you did it at home. Plus, it's a lot easier. Your stuff is stored in a warehouse. So all my strategy cards are stored in a warehouse in the States, multiple warehouses in the States. The order comes in, doesn't even touch me. So all I have to do is take care of my store. I don't have to take care of fulfillment. So anyway, I'm in this sauna with the Shopify guy, and I'm having this great conversation, and this business idea turned out to be very well. But also, my wife and I are in there, and we're like, we need a sauna. So what do you have to do to get a sauna, right? Well, you have to plan, you have to think, you can't always just buy everything you see, $20,000 purchases, and I spend a ton of money on holidays, like a ton, like 70 grand a year on holidays minimum, right? So the 20 kind of like, I don't want to hurt my holiday budget. Well, then, okay, the 20 has kind of got to be delayed gratification. You talked about that?
Yeah.
So yeah, the sauna cashed out $400K, Tokyo, and a sauna. And that was that. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. It's really nice. You ever done the sauna?
I go to Nordic. I'm actually thinking I was gonna go maybe next weekend just to unwind a little bit.
Dude,
do
good for
the
you.
cold and hot and cold and hot.
Cold, cold, hot, and then after you're out of the hot, cold, and then don't go right back in. You have to relax, right? Don't forget that relax cycle. Mm-hmm. That's why they got those hammocks, and there's that place you could sleep inside and all that stuff. Yeah, because you really need that unwind time.
Yeah, you
because
do.
and I almost want to say stay away from the hot tub, because the hot tub actually drains you. And my hot tub, I've almost stopped using it now because of the sauna. Because you're getting the same effect, but you're not getting the defect of a hot tub. Because the hot tub's not good for you. I don't know if you knew that, but it's like...
I don't really use it. I just use a stand-up shower.
Stand-up shower, yeah. So a hot tub, it just makes you hot, right?
Yeah.
Makes you hot, and your body, it's too hot, your body can't even fight it. Now, the sauna fights to keep your body cold, because it's only the outside of your body that's hot, but your inside of the body tries to keep your core
Is it
cold.
a dry sauna or a steam one that you have?
Well, it could be both, right?
Oh,
but
wow.
It's the electric. But if you don't throw water on it, on the stones that do that, then it's a dry sauna. But it could also be kind of that you get the steam
Nice.
as well. So yeah, it's what they have at the Nordique, and it's kind of what I like.
Wow,
The only
20
difference-
grand, for something like that?
By the time you're done, it's 20, because the price you see doesn't include delivery, doesn't include installation, doesn't include accessories, doesn't include the heater, doesn't include the electrician, doesn't
maintenance
include
and
the
all that.
pad you have to put it on. There's like so many steps. My wife has got the greatest thing in the world. She doesn't have to do any of that. What she has to do is say, "Oh, this is nice," and then turn it on. That's my wife's job. That's it.
Yeah.
She doesn't do anything. It's all me. It's like all the planning, everything.
stuff.
Where's it going to go? Where's the pad? Deal with the contractors. It's like that joke where like my wife, she's on vacation and I'm like the bellboy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know
that's
if have you ever experienced that with your girlfriend?
What?
Go on holidays and plan everything, or are you both kind of like, let's go lay out on a beach and do nothing?
We don't really. Well, no, we did plan. Like we went to Mexico. We planned the vacation, but then we spent a day planning out the excursions and stuff. And
Oh, right on.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of fun. It's nice in a
But it
resort.
was me taking the lead on that because it was a new experience for her. Where I've done it before, and I knew what I wanted. I wanted to see the pyramids. I wanted to see downtown Cancun, Maya Riviera. So, but I wanted to ask, just to kind of wrap things up, what you seem like you're. When I got that, I'm like, oh, so this guy's maybe into like biohacking, or you're maybe into like health, because when people get into a certain amount of income, revenue, you're using a lot of your brain. It's a lot of computing, which sometimes people don't realize that's harder. I work in construction, physically tired, mentally tired. Mentally tired is worse, in my opinion. So you're computing all day, you're thinking all day, you're doing math all day. So I'm see you getting this things in the backyard just to relax yourself. And so how big are you into like?
Into biohacking? Yeah. Well, I will tell you, I'm 45. I'm going to be 45 in August, right?
Okay.
So at some point, you kind of got to change your body and kind of change of what you're doing. And you got to figure out ways to be healthier. So, is it quitting smoking when I was 30, right? So I used to smoke 30 years old, or I think I quit at 27 years old. I quit. At 29, I was definitely off it. So that's something I did when I was younger. And now as I'm getting older, it's my body telling me like, wow, you need to change a lot more than just not smoking, right? You need to drink less. You need to sleep better, right? So, okay, how do I sleep better? What do I need to do? I need to get more sunlight, right? I need to do the cold plunge, which I'm a big fan of, right?
You have one?
I have one. Yeah,
Nice.
I have one, but it's hard to maintain in the summer because it's too hot in Canada in the summer, right? So my cold plunge, I use it in the winter, and in the summer, I use a cold shower. So it doesn't have that same effect, but you still kind of get it. So in the winter, I would do hot tub, and I would do cold plunge, right? So I would do cold, hot, cold, and then I'd go in. Because if you only do hot tub, and then you go in your house, and then you go to bed at night, your body's going to feel overheated all night. You're not going to have a good sleep. Yeah. But if you bring your core temperature down with the cold plunge, then you're going to sleep 1,000 times better than if you don't do that.
Wow.
So it'll wake you up in the morning and it'll put you to sleep at night. The cold plunge, I'm a huge fan of that.
You do it every day?
No. Sorry. In the winter, I do it every day. Okay. In the summer,
you do the cold shower.
In the summer, I do the cold shower, and that's what I do. Because if not, during the summer, it's really hard to maintain. So you got this cold plunge, and it's kind of water that doesn't really move, right? So you have to change the water every 4 or 5 days. Say I'm having people over, and it's the weekend. I'll change the water. Yeah. Plus, you got to buy bags of ice every single day for yourself. So you got to throw bags of ice in there. Yeah. In the winter, I actually need a de-icer in the cold plunge so the whole thing doesn't freeze, right? But it works, and it works. I take the de-icer out. And I jump in. It's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Have you tried it? Have you tried cold plunge?
I tried. Well, they wanted Nordique, but then I go to a place called Nobility. Okay. And Nobility has infrared sauna. It's a physio place. It's in Canada. And oh my God, they had the it's so hard. Their cold plunge over there. You can get a membership. It's like $10 every time you go. Okay. But it's like it's insane. And I do sometimes take cold showers, but
cold showers are huge.
Yeah,
they're highly underrated.
Yeah.
I was shooting this master class in Europe. Okay. And I did cold plunge and hydration tablets every day, and I felt like He-Man for like the whole week of shooting. And then you stop doing it, right? Because who wants to take a cold shower? But it works.
Well, in Costa Rica, we had no choice. I didn't have a hot shower until I came to Canada.
No way. It's like normal. Here you go. No wonder you hustle so much.
Yeah. That's all the cold showers. In Costa Rica, we didn't have that. Only like the rich, high middle class people would have the whatever system to heat up the water. If like my brother was a little bit, I don't want to say soft, but I guess more picky. So they had to get a bucket and boil water. Oh, wow. And then he'll have to like just shower like
slowly.
That. Pour it slowly.
Oh my gosh!
If he couldn't handle the cold.
Jeez.
That's how we grew up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Last question for you.
Sure.
Do you like dogs?
I do. I usually like other people's dogs. Absolutely. I love dogs. I had a dog when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What I don't like is when they wake me up at 10 p.m. at night, wake my kids up, and then my wife's like, do something. And then if I do nothing, well, I've let her down.
Yeah,
you can't let
course.
the wife down.
Of course.
Like that's like you can like happy life, happy wife, happy life.
Correct. Yeah.
And if you've let her down, well, you're no longer useful.
But
that is how disposable men are right now. You can make all the money. You make all the money.
Right.
Okay? Make all the money. Okay. But if I'm not doing that one thing she wants me to do right now, I am no longer useful. And she will just go poof and then take half. So,
you're good with half. You have enough.
No, you think I want to give away half? I will suffer before I give away half. And I think a lot of men do that too. Yeah. They will suffer before they give away half. You know how hard I had to work to get that half?
I know.
How hard you're working now? Could you imagine giving away half?
Imagine. Yeah. It's so funny. But cool, man. Cool. No, it's just funny how we started out and then yeah.
Well, tell the story, Chris.
Well, we'll tell the story. So it was me and my friend that moved here. He had a Doberman, which I thought it was really cool. And then his dog walker crashed my car. And the way he paid for the repairs was to give me a heavily discounted Doberman, which she was going for $4,000. I paid $2,000 for her. Okay. But yeah, when we just moved in here, I guess we moved in heavy. It's like two big guys. Yeah, we look like we're tatted up. We look like criminals. Probably have a bad impression, Dobermans. And yeah, we left them outside. And we kind of didn't mind. I guess his dog was very loud, and Faye was like 3 months old, so she was like going off all the time.
She's a baby, yeah.
But yeah, no, we Well, he moved out and we fixed the problem.
Fix the problem. Yeah. So your dog was barking. It was barking for like a long time. Like you'd let
I think
him out.
it was like an hour.
It was like hours at a time. It really
hours.
was, and it was
Yeah.
kind of bad during the day. The other neighbor you could hear it on the Zoom calls, kind of stuff. Me, I don't so much mind during the day, but it was at night when the kids are sleeping.
Yeah, it was at night too, yeah.
The most important thing was like it was upsetting my wife, right? And then it was my fault. So that's the problem I have to solve is
No,
between
but
me
I
and my
respect
wife,
you for coming over, and yeah, it was like a heated exchange, but I respect that so much rather than somebody else who called the city. And
It's true. That was not me. That's true.
No, but that's
that
why
was not me. Yeah.
I respect you, right? Because
Yeah.
you came in, and you have to admit, like, yeah, there was a time where it wasn't just me at the house; it was the other person. He was paying half, but when we had that conversation, it fixed the problem.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot better.
And then when it was just Faye, then it's not.
There hasn't been a problem.
Yeah.
No, there hasn't been a problem.
Like
but I think
in over a year, yeah.
Yeah, and I think so. Me and your other neighbor here, we were talking about. He's got 2 dogs too, right? And
Okay.
somebody called bylaw on him too. So at some point he texted me and he says, well,
Does he like me, or does he think I'm just like a?
Can't speak to that. Don't know.
Okay.
Don't know. But what he did say to me was, if you can't stand dogs barking, maybe you should move out to the country where they don't bother you. But to me, that doesn't really make any sense because you've got, let's just say 1,000 people who live in this neighborhood, and you have somebody causing the problem. Well, it's not everybody else's fault, right? That's what he's saying. He's saying if I don't like the sound of a dog, I should move to another country. Well, no, I'm not the problem. You know what I mean? I'm not imposing my dog on you or my beliefs on you. I just don't want your dog to wake up my kids at night. And I think that's a valid point. Sleep is kind of important for everybody, right? Cranky wife?
Yeah, no, you don't want that. You don't want that. But I think that you should have a conversation before, because sometimes legally you can be doing, you don't have to be breaking the law, or legally you're not doing anything wrong, but you can still talk to the person. I used to live on Preston, on Little Italy, at the Soho Champagne. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
building.
my buddy used to manage it.
Yeah, so I used to live at Soho before I moved here. Beautiful condo. It was just facing Dow's Lake. But the guy next door, on his balcony, he was smoking. It's not illegal. It's his own condo.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I knocked on the door and I said, "Look, bro, I don't mind this smoke, but my room is right there, and I have really bad allergies. I can't smoke."
Yeah.
Right, and that's it. Whereas other people could call the whatever condo people, the management and all that. I like how people just and then I'm a reasonable guy. I know I look like whatever, but
you got more bees with honey that time is kind of the result, right? Because if you go right at them, you might not get the desired result. But it worked out for you, this guy?
Yeah. I knocked on the door. I'm like, just nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm also like, if they're trying to be cute, then I get petty, and then I'm not. I'm not.
Sure, yeah.
I'm like, I have like an anger problem too sometimes.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Trying to keep that under control.
Yeah. But you just respect somebody. Like, I respected you a lot more when we had that conversation, because I was like, okay, so this guy is cool. If he has a problem, he'll tell me. You're not going to call the CD, but because we fixed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
no, it's good.
man.
But
and we became good neighbors.
That's right. And the end result is you solved the problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Because
we did.
I don't think you think it's fair to like the rule, right?
And it
is
wasn't
like,
unreasonable for you to ask.
No, and the rule is like I think it's 5 minutes. Your dog can bark for 5 minutes, something like that.
It's
right?
5 minutes. So there's a decibel meter,
Okay.
a decibel marker, that if it can't go past that decibel for five minutes.
Okay. Well, there you go.
So yeah, and they were. In all fairness, they were. And in that argument, you were right for sure.
And I'll tell you what sucks too, is that sound bounces, right? So your dog's right outside your window, and it bounces on your patio doors.
Yeah.
And then it bounces right up into kind of our sides of the bedroom, right?
Yeah.
So then that's what sucks. And sound like really travels, right? So your neighbor might not hear it because there's no bounce for him. The sound would have to bounce on the side of your house to go that way, right?
Right.
So he doesn't even hear his own dogs over there because it kind of bounces onto the other side.
Yeah,
of the
I don't
house,
hear the
right?
wolves.
Yeah.
Inside this house, I don't hear the wolves. But when I'm in the driveway,
Yeah.
they're hauling like crazy.
So see-
you ever hear them?
I only heard them during that 1 week period when they were redoing their garage and they had them outside in the cage.
Okay.
That was the only thing because the voice was coming this way.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I've never heard them.
No.
So there's still a problem?
Oh no, they're not a problem. I don't hear them, but they howl. They're huskies, right?
So
But they got super nice. But I when I'm inside the house, I never hear them.
no. Well, that's good.
But
I think that's important.
if I'm outside, you could hear them because they're in the garage, right?
Okay, so but I think there's a divide there.
Yeah.
Because I think if you pay a lot of money to be here.
Yeah.
Right. And if something externally is coming into your house and disturbing this
Yeah.
piece that you're paying so much money for,
Yeah.
then I think you have a valid point for everything.
Oh, 100%.
But outside, kids yelling outside,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, it's annoying. You know what I mean?
But I guess you live in the suburbs too.
You live in the suburbs.
You can't. I mean, I've heard the kids too
Yeah.
sometimes running and stuff.
I'm sure.
But
And you live in front of a school?
and I live in front of school. So, but yeah, but no, I love this neighborhood, man. I technically don't really have a reason to live here. I make probably 80% of my money from Toronto.
Kind of crazy. But you're saving a bit, though.
All my family. Oh yeah, like to have this quality of life would cost me an extra $4,000 a month in Toronto, plus all the distractions. So my lease here is 35.
Oh wow, that's
right?
really good.
I pay 3,500. It's just me here.
Yeah. Bills on top?
Bills on top. It comes to like just over 4 if you factor in the.
It's not cheap, man.
No.
Not cheap at all.
But I mean, I love it. This is, I'm big on house, right? Like I have this podcast here, so I can write off a lot of it. You could clearly see his house is to make money.
Yeah.
I have an office in every floor, and but yeah, this house in Toronto is 6,000. On top of the traffic is horrible and the distractions in Toronto, like every night out is 200-300. So here
Easy.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm chilling.
Yeah.
I go to the dog park a lot with my dog. I work with the Ottawa Dog Rescue. Sometimes I foster dogs with
No
them.
way.
I help. Yeah,
Oh,
I help
nice.
them. So I don't know if you've ever seen all the different types of dogs.
I may have, yeah.
Yeah, it's just rescues.
Did you have one this week? No, I saw somebody walking. It looked like you. Maybe it wasn't you.
No. I was in Toronto last week.
Okay.
I will have a Rottweiler tomorrow. My friend Flavor Daddy, he's moving, so I'm looking after his dog. But yeah, I love dogs. I love dogs, man.
Yeah, good for you, man.
I foster and I help. Yeah, Saturdays I volunteer for the Ottawa Dog Rescue. So
Holy
we go to
jeez.
like PetSmart or Pet Value and do shows, and I help. They come in such bad shape. This is the last foster that I had came from Barbados, and yeah, man, he was in tough shape. But I got him off the meds, of the trazodone, of all this to calm him down. And Faye and him she kind of brought him back, and he stopped fighting. And then we rehabbed him, and then we find him a home, like
Holy
a
jeez.
forever home. Yeah.
How long does it take to rehab?
Very rewarding. Probably like 2-3 months. If it's just behavior problems, quick. It's not that long. But I did have a dog that had an allergy problem, had a break. They were gonna put him down. The same day they were gonna put him down, they called me because he was a dog de Bordeaux. It's like a mastiff, a French mastiff.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful dog. They were gonna put him down because he had an allergy to chicken, and they gave him chicken. He was breaking out. Nobody wanted him. I took him. We were washing his paws, giving him medication. And yeah, he made a full recovery in 3 months. We found him a forever home. I almost kept the dog, but yeah, you're not allowed to foster fail on the first foster that you do with the organization. Because I was working with the Mississauga Humane Society before.
Okay.
Yeah, but dogs for me is like my thing.
Yeah, good for you, man.
I love dogs. Yeah, that's like.
Well, they need people like you.
Huh?
You must have seen. I hear the pandemic dogs were a thing. A lot of families got dogs. They're forced.
Yeah,
Is
man.
it still the same thing happening where dogs are being brought back?
Yeah. There's a lot of dogs. Well, that one was one pandemic dog.
Okay, yeah.
She was a pandemic dog. He was 2 years old, 2.5. They didn't want him. They didn't care for him. And he was the most nicest, sweet dog. Yeah. So he was with me for 3 months. And then when you work with the Ottawa Dog Rescue, you get to vet with them the whoever adopts the dog. There's an adoption fee. It's usually $500-$800, but you get to go to their house and you get to see their families and see how they
No way.
they are. So it was a beautiful family. It was like half an hour from here. I think they were like in Canada. Big house, bigger backyard than mine. Wife, white people, wife, husband, 2 kids, and the girl was like 8, and the kid was like 14.
And they're getting potty
and they had
trained dog, like a fully trained
Yeah,
dog.
they had a French Mastiff. Yeah, it was. He knows commands. I taught him how to sit, how to like eat your whatever, and they had a boxer who recently passed away, so they were looking for a dog. So they already had experience with that breed, with big dogs, and they click and they send me. I'll show you pictures.
Like, isn't that one of the pain points? Is getting a baby dog and having to train it so that it doesn't mess up your house and it actually listens. And I think most dog parents can't even get their dogs to that level, and they just don't.
Correct.
So wouldn't there be a business there for somebody like you to come in and just give them a 6-month-old, fully trained, fully potty trained dog? And what would you? Can you charge for that? What would?
Yeah,
like,
you could get that would be like 10 grand.
10 grand straight up because.
Yeah.
Because again, the pain points, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about the pain points of like,
Yeah.
look at all the stuff you're
And
gonna
if you
have to go
wanted
through.
like a security dog that would come in and smell every room and analyze it, that's like 20,000-30,000. Right?
Really?
Yeah.
But who's buying that dog? Cops or like who's buying that dog?
When you get $3 million subscribers,
Yeah. There you go. You need security, I
you
guess.
need
Is that
some
you need a security
yeah,
dog?
especially if you're in that fame, right?
Fame, yeah.
So
okay.
Drake, The Weeknd has Dobermans. He's like 4 Dobermans that are
Really?
fully trained. Puff Daddy had some.
What do you think of what's happening with Puff Daddy?
What do I think? Oh, I think he deserves everything that's coming to him. I think he, the whole that whole industry is bad, and I think, say you make a song, well, let's just say, you have a lot more experience than me with YouTube success, right? So, say I hit a video, goes viral, and I get my first 100,000, and you're like, yo, come over, let's celebrate, let's go to Vegas.
Go to Vegas.
We go to Vegas. You drug me.
Drug you, okay.
Right?
I see where this is going.
Yeah,
Okay.
you drug me, and then you record me doing the most like weirdest things that would destroy me if it came out.
Okay.
And I think he's done that with a lot of politicians. He did that with Justin Bieber. He did that with a lot of people.
Wow, to have control.
To have control. And that's the whole Epstein Island thing as well, right? It's the same play. It's just Epstein was politics, Puff Daddy was
He attracted
entertainment.
different people.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So
Yeah.
you think that's what he did?
Yeah.
Where are the videos?
Remember they raided his house?
Yeah, the videos are somewhere,
Yeah, there got to be somewhere.
just like Epstein.
Yeah.
They got all these computers, right?
Yeah.
Never seen a video.
Never.
Somebody's pulling the strings.
And I mean, they killed him.
Oh, of course.
And so a lot of people are after Puff Daddy. He's done because there's so many people that want to kill him because of the blackmail and plus he did the part. He was a bully and he was hurting women and.
Was this like known? Because
Yeah.
I liked his music. Long time ago, I used to listen to his music
of
a
course.
lot when he was popular.
Well,
and
he
Biggie.
apparently he killed Tupac.
That's what they say?
Yeah.
He killed Tupac.
Yeah.
Is that a recent thing that he killed Tupac?
No,
or we
it's
always knew
been
this?
a conspiracy.
He wanted to be number one. A lot of people say that about Jay-Z now. That there's
Yeah.
Jay-Z and Beyonce. They wanted to be number ones and who stood in whose way and this and that. I mean, how do you know what to believe, right?
I don't know. JC is another one that, like, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of stuff comes out from him.
From him. Do you think
out of him.
Puff Daddy would have and Jay-Z maybe somewhat commingled in this whole thing? Maybe their paths
There's
crossed?
some for sure.
Were they, like, there was Death Row, right?
Yeah.
And then there was, who's the other
Def
one?
Jam?
Def
No.
No,
not
I
Def
feel
Jam.
like it was like West Coast, East Coast. And like Puff Daddy, I guess, was he New York? Was Biggie New York?
Yeah,
So he
Biggie
would have
was
been
New
East
York.
Coast, right? And then, so they were together. So that means that Puff Daddy was East Coast.
Yeah.
And Tupac was West Coast, California Love, all that
Correct,
stuff,
yeah.
right? Okay. So this whole rivalry thing, and then Tupac dies first, or Biggie dies first.
Oh,
I don't even remember.
I think Tupac died first.
Tupac died first,
Yeah,
then
I could
Biggie
be
died.
wrong,
Oh yeah, because
yeah.
they made videos and I listened to them, and yeah, he was really big with Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
So
I think Puff Daddy killed both, and I think yeah, man. Suge Knight has a whole podcast with Patrick but David that I have to watch. It came out like last month. In prison. That's a gangster guy, like that Suge Knight. But yeah, I think all of that's gonna be played out, man. I think a lot of that stuff that these artists were doing, the Harvey Weinsteins and the Epstein and the blackmail, that's just gonna stop now. Guys like Kanye West that are very outspoken and they're very, I don't know, if they're, I don't know. Do you like Kanye? I love Kanye.
Well, I don't love his new music, but I love his old music. Yeah, and I can't say I love him now because he's a little out there now.
He's crazy, but he does say a lot of cool stuff, like a lot of stuff that makes a lot of sense.
But he did have a good business mind, and he was doing very well, but he kind of blew it up last year. Thing about the States is you never go against the Jews. He went against the Jews. He went against the Jews. Don't do that. He lost his Adidas deal. What was that worth? A couple billion a year?
Yeah, they want him back, though.
Well, maybe, but enough time's got to pass, right?
Yeah.
And it's not. They want him back, but he's not necessarily back.
Well, he was the first one. Well, now everybody hates the Jews. Now anti-Semitism is like everywhere.
They're losing the PR war.
Matter of fact, if you go outside with an Israeli flag, you probably get like
a
bunch of people jumping you on the street, right?
But the States is still sending them money.
Yeah.
And Canada is still defending them.
Yeah.
A lot of Palestinians are leaving, because of Trudeau's stance on this. Yeah, it's not good.
It's messy, and I hope it ends. But I just heard even Lebanon is fighting now with Israel, and we live in Lebanese. We live in there's a lot of huge Lebanese.
Yeah, a lot of my friends are Lebanese.
And good people too. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But
so
wars are bad.
Wars are bad.
Bombs are bad.
Let's
stop the bomb manufacturers so they don't have to make money off bombs, because the only way you make money off bombs is if you drop them.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Let's stop dropping bombs everywhere. I mean, that would be pretty
only
safe
truth
right?
bombs, only knowledge bombs that we drop.
Bombs.
Yeah.
You want to stop the Epstein conspiracy? Show us one video of somebody he blackmailed. Just one. Pick one, and then we'll all know. And put everybody who went to Epstein Island.
I want to see Bill Clinton with the 12-year-old.
We know, no, but I mean, these are all, and then Puff Daddy, right?
Yeah.
Who did he coerce? Or there should be a list. There should be something. Truth brings everything to light, right?
Yeah.
And then it's over. It's no longer a maybe, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Justin
the truth
Bieber's
will set you free, and I like what a lot of these people are doing, chasing the truth. That's what Tucker Carlson is doing.
Yeah.
Love him. Elon, you can love him or hate him. He's into that, and I think truth, it's the new. We're going on. Somebody said we're on a truth recession right now, on a trust recession. That's what we're going through right now.
Hey, maybe truth is the new currency.
Truth is the new currency. The people that are more outspoken, like 50 Cent, for example, you can't cancel 50.
No.
50 is doing a documentary on Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
Now 50, you say what you want about him, but he's even truthful on how much of an asshole he could be.
Yeah.
Whereas the people like The Rock that are fake, their careers are falling down.
Yeah.
So now it's just own up to who you are, your beliefs. Don't cater to the woke culture. I'm super patriotic. I'm very leaning conservative. I do believe in some social issues, but I think it's just wait. I think we need at least 2 years. I would love to see Trump, Pierre Poilievre, and then I would love to see Pierre do another term. And when Trump's term is over, I'd love to see Vivek or DeSantis take the throne.
Yeah,
and that would be the best thing that could happen to Western society. And then after those 2 terms, maybe like a centralist will be okay. But we'll have that conversation when that happens.
It depends how the people feel, right? People vote for change, so that's kind of where they're at. They're at, well, we need change. My situation is not as good as it used to be, whether you're in Canada or the United States. You need to have a better style of living. If you're making more money, you should have a better style of living. If you're making the same money, well, it shouldn't necessarily go down, right? And that's kind of the main thing. So, I think I'm on your side there.
Yeah. Except the guns. You don't want. I want them. Sounds good, brother. So a good podcast. Never split tents.
Yeah, I think so. So